I became painfully aware of how quiet it was in here. All I could do here was my heartbeat and the breathing, and I can't even focus anymore through my tears. I spotted my phone. Hello people of the internet, and welcome to Your Skin Belongs to Another. Let's go. This game depicts gore and body horror. Night 1. I let out a sigh as I threw my jacket onto the couch. It had been another long day at work, one that dragged on the more I stared at the clock. But now I could finally sit back and relax for a couple of hours before turning in for the night. Just, an average day. Until... Man, I look like shit. A hot shower should do me some good. It's always helped me to relax on days like these. While waiting for the water to heat up, I slipped out, throwing them into the laundry basket to deal with them later. What? The clothes? It's water. Down into the drain. Huh? That's strange. What's up with my skin? I haven't dealt with something like that since I was a teenager. It looks like an allergy or what? Maybe this job is taking a toll on me more than I thought. I think I have some kind of ointment on hand in case of emergencies like that. Let's put it on. Aha, there it is. This should help me calm down a bit. I wouldn't be getting much sleep otherwise, with how itchy it's starting to get. I guess I hadn't been keeping up with my skincare routine. So maybe that's why it flared up again. It also doesn't help matters that I got given my mother's genetics when it comes to skin-related problems. It's nice to be out of my work clothes into more comfortable ones. Not that my work clothes were bad, I'm just lucky enough to be able to wear casual clothes. But my mouse is the type to be a stickler for rules and micromanage everything. So I had to be careful on what I wore, especially if I couldn't avoid their warpath. But now it's finally time to go to sleep. My old mattress had become so stiff that I felt like I was sleeping on the floor. I didn't realize how bad it had gotten until this new one arrived. Then it felt like I was sleeping on a cloud. Uh-oh. Your dreams are on the cloud, man. That's not good. It was one of the few things that I looked forward to now when getting home. Man, I really must be getting old if I'm getting this excited over a mattress. It's the piece where you spend the majority of your life in your mattress. The last thing I remember before drifting off to sleep was deciding on if I was overdue for a break from work. Day 2. So it's night 1 and day 2? Dun, my phone. There's this. How it managed to fall under my bed will be a mystery to solve later. But I had other, more immediate problems. Somehow I had slept through multiple alarms. Oh no. I was now running the risk of being late at work. That was if I didn't leave within the next couple of minutes. So that meant skipping breakfast this morning. It also meant that I didn't have enough time to check if my face had cleared up. Those previous minutes were spent scrambling to find suitable work clothes and race out the door, still struggling to put on my shirt. I already had too many write-ups on being late already, and I couldn't risk losing my job again. All I had to do now was pray that I didn't get too many red lights on the way there. Man. Was that day, man, really. Thankfully. It's a Friday. Yay, and now we have the weekend. Woohoo. Party. Let's go. Maybe I could see what my friends were up to and see if they want to hang. Or I just go to sleep for 2 days and then it's back to work. But right now, I don't have the energy to do much of anything after. So it's the latter. So I choose to turn in early. But before that, I wanted to change into my pajamas. Yeah. In my haste this morning, I had thrown my pajamas across the room. With force. The pants landed on the floor and the foot of the bed. My shirt, on the other hand, had somehow landed on the top of my wardrobe. What were you doing with that? Were you just screaming around and throwing stuff around? With a sigh, I went all about collecting the pieces of clothing. I retrieved my pants first, then to the blah blah blah, but when reaching up for my shirt, I noticed something was off. I definitely didn't have this rush in the morning. Gosh. Looks almost infected. It's weirdly patterned. I surely would have noticed it. When did I get that? Was I so tired this afternoon that I never even noticed it? But how? It's directly on your hand. Did I have some allergic reaction to something? If I got it at work, why didn't any of my coworkers tell me? Or notice it themselves for that matter? No matter how many questions I had, there was not going to be any answers. The only thing I could assume was that it might have some correlation to yesterday's skin condition that had flared up. But it looks completely different, doesn't it? I had some rash cream somewhere. I remember buying some while ago after me and one of my friends fell into a poison ivy bush. I was sitting on a porch, surrounded by my friends. We were having a chill night, drinking beer, but then, out of nowhere, a wild ivy bush appeared. Everything about this was normal, but I still felt something was off. I tried focusing on my friends, on their faces, really hard focusing. But the more I strained my eyes, the more of a headache I got. That was until I got to one friend in particular. They were the only one that didn't seem to hurt my eyes when I looked at them. What's that kind for a sentence? I'm sorry, Bob, I cannot look at you. You're hurting my eyes. Your ugliness. It hurts. That's a really way to... I don't know what they mean. They were their normal self, so why was my heart racing? Was anything about this truly normal? My gut was telling me something else. Like this person before me wasn't my friend. Is that who you think this is? Is that what they want you to believe? Who are they, then? Who are they, them? They claim to be my friend, but yet there's something different about them. What do you mean? But what was it? Maybe they were flirting with you. I had known them most of my life, so why could I not tell what was going on with them? They can claim whoever they want to be. This so-called friend of mine reached out a hand to me. Something took control of my body as my arm moved on its own accord, accepting their hand. There was nothing I could do to stop it from happening. Even when that eerie smile spread across their face and I felt the rising heat shot up my arm. Day 3. Well, that was an interesting dream, I guess. I've always had a hard time waking up in the morning, but this really takes the cake. The dream really did a number on me. Did you wet your bed? Or what do you mean? Okay, we're no longer talking about that. Okay, noticed. As the day went on, I noticed how ill I was feeling. Mostly just the fever and how itchy the rash has becoming. Not only that, but the rash has spread a little further up on my arm. It wasn't anything serious, but I felt like I should take some precautions. Maybe go to a doctor. That seems like a good idea. But no, we can also just stay at home and rub something more on it. After applying more rash cream, I knew it. To my arm, I picked up my phone. Oh, so we are calling. Hello, this is Medical Center. How may I help you? Hi, I'm calling to see if I can book an appointment. Of course. May I ask why you're booking this appointment? I have a rash on my hand that has since spread up my arm a little. I'm also running a bit of a fever. Okay. Unfortunately, we don't have any appointment next week. Of course, that would be the case. They were always busy, but still, it was still a better alternative. Hopefully this rash won't turn into something serious. Waiting a week shouldn't be too bad for them. Okay, I'll take that appointment. If your symptoms worsen or become life-threatening, please be sure to go to the ER. Okay, sure. But waiting 1 week, that's actually pretty good. You don't have to wait for months, so feel lucky. The rest of the day was uneventful, to say the least. I mostly just took it easy, hoping to not aggravate this rash any further. It was a day mostly spent in front of the TV, watching that new show one of my friends had been raving on about. I might have gotten a little into it, because before I knew it, I had binged the entire first season. Yeah. Checking out the time, it was nearing midnight. Well, past when I usually went into bed. It was about that time that I turned in for the night. This was usually how I spent my weekends when I didn't have the energy to do much else. Feels like a dream, doesn't it? After how stressful my job had been becoming, as well as how much it was consuming my life, it was all I could do to stop myself from going crazy. All I could hope was that I didn't have any more weird dreams. But why? Felt like a good dream that you had. But day 4 came without any dream. I was awoken to the sound of my phone ringing. Who could possibly be calling me on a Sunday morning? There was only one way to find out. Hey, you're not busy, are ya? Nope, just lounging about. Have you seen my roommate at all during the week? I can't say I have. Did I? The last time I saw them was the last weekend when we spent the day out at your place. Why do you ask? I don't know if there's something wrong or if I'm going crazy. They've been acting weird, like the whole week. What do you mean by weird? Haven't they always been a bit on the eccentric side? True, but the stuff that they've been doing is beyond weird, even for them. So tell me, what exactly have they been doing that had you so freaked out? They appeared happier at first, almost like they were giddy about something. Like a serial killer. Is that for a comparison? An adrenaline rush after the first kill, if you know what I mean. And no. It's quite the comparison. I don't know how else to describe it. Something about the whole thing was so off-putting, you know. Actually, there was something else. Yeah. Before we all had that long hangout last weekend, like about a week or so before, my roommate didn't show up back to the apartment for a couple of days. And we also don't never talk about their name. We just call them roommate. When they did return, there was this weird smell that lingered after they locked themselves away in their room. Okay. Weird smell? Something sour? But mostly reminded me of cleaning products. Ah, okay, that smell. Okay. Okay. Huh. And are they still in the apartment? We talked about it, they're not there, right? What? I have no idea. I've been just crashing at my parents' place until this all blows over. I don't think they're at risk as putting themselves in danger. What kind of a scenario is that? So your friend is in trouble, locking themselves in, and you leave? Or you escape? Okay. But my gut is telling me that something is very wrong, and that I need to get out of there ASP. And my gut has never failed me. So that's why I'm telling you to do my job. Well, as long as you're safe, that's what matters. Yeah, I guess so. Well, if anything else happens, I'm just a call away. Thanks. I'll let you get back to whatever you were doing. No worries. See you later. Well, that's an interesting way of waking up. And yeah, we don't want to go to sleep. As I sat on my bed, contemplating on what to do today, I began to have an unpleasant feeling wash over me. It was the one that made me feel like I hadn't showered in weeks. Ew. Without a moment's hesitation, I quickly got up from bed and made my way to the shower. Showering. Oh no, what's that? That doesn't look healthy, does it? What the fuck is going on? Oh my gosh. Why? Why is this happening? My hair. Oh, my hair is... Shit. What to do? What? I look down at my hands as I clutch at what is left of my hair. My eyes began tearing up. Was it because of how scared I was? I became painfully aware of how quiet it was in here. All I could do here was my heartbeat and the breathing, and I can't even focus anymore through my tears. I spotted my phone. That's right, the phone. The phone call yesterday. I didn't care what I was wearing, or how crazed up I looked. I just needed to find my car keys and get to the ER. There wasn't any points in calling an ambulance. I was still well enough to drive to the hospital. Thankfully, it was only 10 minutes away. And I would nearly be there by now if I could find these damn keys. There they are. Let's go. The moment I stepped outside, I felt a searing pain through my head. My vision blurred, and the world around me became a bright, saturated white. It felt like my entire body was on fire, as somebody slowly chipped away and dug at my flesh. There was nothing I could do to stop any of this, as I doubled over in pain. I couldn't even call out for help. It was as if somebody had taken away my voice. The last thing I remember was praying to any god that was willing to lend an ear to please take this pain away. We don't know. Somehow, I had made it back inside. But at what cost? What day is it? What time? My entire body felt heavy and stiff. Every movement I made sent a pain shooting all over my body. But I just had to grab my phone out of my... It's not there? I always leave it in my pocket when I leave the house. Fuck! Where is it? Think. Where did I leave it last? Is it outside? My bedroom. It was still in my bedroom, on my bedside table, where I had left it in this morning. Shit. I had to get my phone. It was my only hope if I wanted to make it out this alive. Slowly moving, I tried to pick myself up and stand. Oh my gosh. Fuck! Took a couple of minutes for the pain to finally die down. Yeah, you definitely need help at this point. Looks like I wouldn't be walking anywhere anytime soon. What? How badly hurt are you? I attempted to drag myself along the floor, slowly at first. While it still hurt to move, it didn't hurt nearly as badly than when I tried to stand up. Just as long as I didn't make any big or sudden movements. Just crawling to there. It was a slow, excruciating process. But was the only thing I could think of doing right now. Going outside was clearly not an option, and I had lost the ability to use my voice to call out for help. Even if I could, I barely had enough energy left in me. I was basically working on the last bit of adrenaline I had and the will to survive, to get to my phone. Stopping briefly to catch my breath, I caught sight of my reflection in the mirror, the one I had in the hallway, but I wish I hadn't had looked inside. It was something I instantly regret. At a little amount of light pouring in from the street light outside, I could see myself reflected in the mirror. At least what was left of me. Oh. My heart skipped a beat at the sight before me. I no longer recognize myself. Ooh. What happened to me after I passed out? Why am I wounded? Why am I bleeding? More importantly, what is causing this to my body? No wonder my body was in so much pain. Maybe I should have taken this more seriously. If I hadn't gone to the doctor sooner, or had called the emergency line instead of stubbornly thinking, I could get there myself. But none of that mattered anymore. I just had a little further to go on, and soon all of it would be over. What? What? How did they get in? Shit, I must have not locked the door before I collapsed in the lounge room. Wait, something's not right. Definitely not. I could feel my heart sink the longer I stared at this person. No, this was no person. Or human for that matter. It was something trying to imitate what they thought a human was. All I could do was stare on, unable to move from where I was. There was no running from this thing, especially in my condition. I was incapacitated, and this thing knew it. I don't know how, but I knew what it was here for. This creature wanted my body. Like a snake shedding its skin, this creature had done away with his. Now all it needed was a new body to take over. Or not. Hey, did you want to have another party this weekend? Let's go. What should I say to that? It was definitely an interesting game. The scenes where it really focused on what it was trying to tell, they worked really well. Especially since we still don't know if this is, a real monster coming up, a dream, or just, our entire imagination of stuff. From the gameplay perspective, I only felt like there were some pacing issues. There was a lot of talking of, oh no, I'm preparing for work or I'm coming back for work, which are not really relevant in the greater scheme, whereas the parts that are actually focusing on the horror felt sometimes a bit too short. But I really liked the internal struggle of the protagonist with everything that has been going on, of seeing their body, and with the bruises, the wounds, the blood, the hair. You could really feel how the character was becoming more and more panicked, and in the end we don't even know what was really going on or what's the point of it. Because it could be you are working against your body, or there's something in your body that you cannot control, or that either you or your body is pushing you into something that you don't want to have, into the skin that you don't belong to, basically. It's really open at that end, but it was still a cool game. So, thank you so much for watching, have fun, and see ya.